They're obviously in first place, but officially are the Steelers a threat in the AFC?
I mean, I think you have to take them serious. How serious? It's going to depend on Aaron Rodgers and what that offense looks like. Like last night, they were able to move the ball. They looked like an offense that could build on something that we saw a couple weeks ago. However, when you take into consideration who they played, that just carries weight.
Oof.
It just simply carries weight because you're going to be playing. Think about the defenses. Think about the defenses that this team is going to have to go up against in the postseason. You got the Broncos potentially. You got obviously the Houston Texans. Right. You got the Jags are great.
The Chargers defense has been excellent.
Like these are defenses that just can get after you from a quarterbacking standpoint and really mitigate what they have to see offensively that they don't do well. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they push the ball down the field, which they did a few weeks ago, that's what opens everything up for them. I just don't know if they can hold the ball long enough to do those types of things. So are they a threat defensively because they can turn you over? Possibly. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Listen, to your point about who they played, they're 1-4 this year against playoff teams. The one win.
We turned the ball over 5 times.
Yeah, the Patriots.
We almost won the game.
It was an anomalous game. I think is a fair way to put it. The Patriots turned the ball over, as Wild said, 5 times. Once going into the end zone, another time right by the end zone. That's their one win. Now, you give them credit for that, but that doesn't feel sustainable. To the point you're making, it feels to me like any team they play in the AFC playoffs is either going to have a much better defense than they have.
Yeah.
Or a much better quarterback.
Yeah.
So the two teams that I think don't have a much better defense than Pittsburgh are New England and Buffalo. But they have a much better quarterback than Pittsburgh.
Sure.
You know, is the way I view it. So I think it's an uphill battle. To Aaron's point about having a home playoff game, I think that does matter. But I also think that because it's Aaron Rodgers and because particularly 2 weeks ago, but even a couple moments yesterday, you see him throw a pass and you're like, man, it could have been Greg Jennings on the other end of that pass. It looks like him from 15 years ago. It's a hard player to quit when they're rolling and when they're winning. But right now, to me, it feels like somehow Mike Tomlin has once again found a way to make sure his team is exactly the 15th best team in the NFL. That the 8 NFC playoff teams plus Detroit are better than them. The 6 AFC teams that are going to make the playoffs are better than them, with the possible exception being the Chargers because of what the Chargers are dealing with injury-wise, which puts them at 14 or 15. So I don't think they're a threat. And, Brew, I'd take it a step further. I think they are the team that every wild card team will be hoping to draw in round 1. If the options are Denver, New England, Jacksonville, which again, people can make fun of Jacksonville. Jacksonville's rolling, and
they are.
I think right now feels more dangerous. Or Pittsburgh. Like, to me, that's the team that, and if Jacksonville stumbles, then Houston takes their spot, and certainly you don't want to play Houston.
I agree with you guys. So let me take it to a positive, because I think this is the Steelers we always see, at least the last several years. You know, pretty good team, tough. They're going to play you tough, but doubtful they'll win a playoff game. Here's the caveat, though. Look at the field. This is not a field like last season when you had Baltimore, you had Kansas City, and you had Buffalo. Like, outside of Josh Allen, Bo Nix was just okay last year, if that, right? We don't know what Bo Nix is going to do in the playoffs. Drake May, as great as he's been, we don't know what he's going to do in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks in his 2 playoff games. Justin Herbert has been bad in the playoffs. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't expect Pittsburgh to win a playoff game, but if Aaron Rodgers can turn back the clock a little bit, then I guess it's possible, and if that defense plays well. And so I just think this field really makes it interesting where maybe this could be a year where the Steelers get.
Yes, this is what's so interesting to me about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nick is talking about how other teams have better offenses and defenses, and he's like, oh, these other teams have a better defense, this and that. But then he says he doesn't trust the Chargers offense. He doesn't trust C.J. Stroud and that Houston Texans offense. He doesn't trust Bo Nix and that Denver Broncos offense. He essentially doesn't trust any of these AFC offenses right now. So, it's a pretty funny situation where we pick and choose when we want to see someone as competent or a threat. Therefore, saying the Pittsburgh Steelers are zero threat is just objectively a false statement. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's because I lived in Pittsburgh. Maybe it's because I'm still dreaming of Sorrento's Pizza, or, more accurately, Little Nippers 2 on Craig Street for their pizza. They have the best barbecue chicken pizza and the best buffalo chicken pizza too. I'm telling you right now, if you're in Pittsburgh, go to Little Nippers. This is just me saying this. I have no relationship with them whatsoever. That barbecue chicken pizza saves lives. But I'm also just really hungry right now. Back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This defense has been playing great. And if the offense continues to improve like it has with Aaron Rodgers, yes, I mean, all of a sudden, everyone is having these through-the-roof complaints. Nick thinks Justin Herbert has been bad with the Chargers, that C.J. Stroud has been inconsistent and questionable with the Texans, and that Bo Nix, he literally said earlier today, that Bo Nix will hold back the Denver Broncos from reaching and winning a Super Bowl, that he is the problem. So, Pittsburgh Steelers, if all that is true, and I'm not saying it is, but let's just assume it is, then why can't the Steelers' defense do damage against those offenses? Why can't Aaron Rodgers manage a game well enough to score more points and win? I don't get it. Before I go any further, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, please do not forget to subscribe and watch the full length of the video. When you do that, amazing things happen. Views and subscribers go through the roof, and it's the best way to support the growth of this channel so I can keep making the best possible Steelers content. It's not about chasing views or subscribers for their own sake. Obviously, I want them. But it's about being able to create content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss so we can have real, grounded, unbiased conversations about the Steelers. I'm not here to say the Steelers are the #1 Super Bowl contenders and nobody wants to face them. That's not my argument. But Aaron Rodgers has been playing awesome and is now really settled in. They're able to get more from the run game. The defense feels like it's playing with a stronger purpose. We'll see what happens with TJ Watt. It's a wait-and-see situation with his injury. But if you get the version of Aaron we saw against Miami, and you can now play in some of these cold weather games. This is what I said the other day. If you're at home against teams like the Jaguars, Texans, or Chargers, depending on seeding, you're talking about cold, brutal weather against warm weather or dome-supported teams. Think about it. Justin Herbert playing with a surgically repaired hand, coming from the West Coast to a cold weather game with a bad offensive line? That's not an easy game for him. C.J. Stroud, I'm so happy for his success after his name was dragged through the mud. But I don't know how that looks in the freezing cold of Pittsburgh in a brutal night game. And you don't want that Texans defense by any stretch. It's for real. The way Aaron Rodgers gets by that is by being the super football genius that he is. His ability to read defenses, make pre-snap reads, put players in the right positions, use hard counts, draw 12 men on the field. You're going to need a true veteran. But really, what it comes down to is, can the defense continue to elevate? Greg said, they'll go as far as Aaron takes them. But you need the defense to be great. If the defense can be disruptive and hold playoff teams to 20 points or less, you have a real chance. My school of thought is, in the playoffs, if your defense holds a legit team to 21 points or less and you don't win, that's on your offense. You can't expect your defense to hold everyone to 14 or less. However, with the Steelers, the margin of error is much smaller. If you hold a team like the Texans to 19 points and force a turnover, you have to convert that into a touchdown, not a field goal. That margin is smaller for the Steelers than for teams like the Texans or Broncos, whose elite defenses can bail out a quarterback's mistake, like C.J. Stroud throwing a bad interception and his defense ensuring no points come from it. The Steelers are working with a more fragile margin. But if the Steelers' defense elevates even more, holding a Stroud or Herbert to 14 points, like we saw against the Chiefs, 16-13, then Aaron just has to control the game. You don't need 300 yards. You need completions, clock management, and a smart run game. The clock just keeps going, and your defense is holding the score down. In that scenario, you have Aaron Rodgers, the veteran who knows exactly how to manage a game when his defense is dominating. He knows when to take a shot, when to play safe, how to operate. That's what you're paying for. Yes, if you had to choose between Drake May and Aaron Rodgers for the future, you take May, no doubt. But in a specific playoff situation where you're holding a young quarterback to 10-14 points and you need someone to be smart and manage the game, you want the seasoned veteran who understands what the defense is trying to do to blow the game up. A young quarterback like Drake May, CJ Stroud, or Bo Nix is still more reliant on the coaching staff and game plan. They might have the athleticism to escape and make a play, but they don't yet have that innate understanding. It's like in basketball. Anthony Edwards has more youth and athleticism than LeBron James, but in a critical Olympic moment, Steve Kerr had to take him off the floor because he didn't know how to manage the situation, while LeBron did. There are maybe only 10 players in the NBA who absolutely know what to do in those final seconds. It's the same in football. Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, even Justin Herbert, they still need to show they know what to do in those moments. Aaron Rodgers unquestionably knows. So, while the youth, athleticism, and overall roster of teams like the Patriots or Broncos might overpower the Steelers, I'm not prepared to automatically say the Steelers are no threat. That hasn't been true over the last 15-plus years of watching quarterback play. Look at Tom Brady in his final playoff game with the Buccaneers. If his defense had been legit and held the Cowboys to 17 points, he would have managed that game to a win. We saw what Peyton Manning was able to do in a Super Bowl with a great defense. It's definitely possible. The Steelers can be a threat. They need to continue improving over these next few weeks. This defense needs to become that violent, physical, brutal unit. If they can do that, then you can trust Aaron Rodgers' ability to find a way through playoff wins. If they can't, then things change. But to write them off completely is a mistake. Those are just my thoughts. What do you all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you believe they look like a threat in the AFC, or are they the worst playoff team as some say? Let me know in the comments below.